Previously on Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. Thursday, November 19th, 1885. My name is Wendy Sturton, and a few days ago, I was kidnapped. On the afternoon of 16th November, I was on an errand to obtain some more laudanum from the chemist. I was turning off Curzon Street onto Half Moon Street when I heard a carriage come close beside me. Suddenly, there was an arm about me and something over my mouth, so I could not scream. I was pushed into the carriage, and then something over my head, so I could not see. Tied and blindfolded have led police to suspect that the gang responsible are the same that carried out the Dunsworthy kidnapping. Wendy was taken about 5 to 10 minutes away from Hyde Park. So Hyde Park could be also an interesting lead. A masked man entered the carriage, overpowered her, gagged and blindfolded her. She was transferred to another carriage, though she does not recall how, and driven for some distance. So, 61 Northwest. We're at the train residence now. The ransom was £2,000. But if I'm looking at the map, and what I find really interesting is if she were to leave 61 Northwest, which is the train residence, and walk north to either chemist, in order for her to be on the corner of Half Moon and Curzon Street, where she was originally kidnapped, she would have had to walk south. So the last thing from episode 1. We took a look at a little bit more detail on previous kidnappings. A little bit more information from the Train family. We also found that there were no leads for any chemists. And I did a little bit of Googling for my own learning and found that laudanum is an opioid. So it is entirely possible that Miss Train has an opioid addiction. And I think that a couple of questions that we had were, how did the captors know that Mr. Train wasn't able to pay the ransom? And why was Wendy heading south instead of north, where the supposed chemists are? I could be completely overthinking things here, but still a question that I had. So I think that we have two places we could go. We could either continue Lady Mary's story and visit the gossip columnist, in the list of our informants. So that would be to visit Langdale Pike, or we go to Scotland Yard to get a little bit more information on the previous kidnapping. We could also go to the carriage stables. My hunch is to go to Scotland Yard first, but it is possible that Lestrade may not help us because we're not Holmes. But I think we should give it a shot anyways. So if we go to Scotland Yard, that lead is at 13 Southwest. Inspector Lestrade is a lean, ferret-like man whom we have heard Holmes describe as an energetic and tenacious but lacking in imagination. When we arrive, he is busy reading papers on his desk and does not see us until we are practically standing over him. "Oh, good grief," he says, noticing our presence. "Dr. Watson, and you've brought some children with you?" "Baker Street irregulars. This is Inspector Lestrade," says Watson. "Lestrade, these are the irregulars, and their leader, Mr. Wiggins." "Very good," said Lestrade. "But what are you doing at my desk?" "We know Holmes has helped you in the past, Inspector," says Wiggins, "and, I'm sure you've helped him too. We thought you might be able to help us. We're looking into the kidnapping of Wendy Sturton. She thinks your investigation into the case may have slowed a little." Lestrade guffaws. "Well, she's back safe and sound, is she not?" "Oh yes, Inspector," replies Wiggins, "but the kidnappers didn't get their money. She's worried they may come back." Lestrade shakes his head. "The thing is, Wiggins, my lad, kidnapping is a specialized crime and a difficult one to pull off. The capture and release can be relatively straightforward, but it's getting the payment that's the hard part. You need to have judged how much to ask for, and then you need a means of collection that is planned so it won't lead the police or anyone else to your door. The first time, with Mary Dunsworthy, these kidnappers got their money. Foolishly, Lady Dunsworthy did not come to us until after she paid the ransom. The second time with Wendy Sturton, they weren't so lucky, and they realized they'd pick a bad target, I reckon. It will have given them a fright, and that'll be the last kidnapping they undertake. You mark my words. Do you have any more leads you could share with us? I've sent an officer to see if our informants know anything, but I doubt they will. Mr. Murray has the notes on other items, of course." "Thank you, Inspector," says Wiggins, doffing his cap. "'Twere a pleasure to meet you, and I'm sure we'll meet again." Wiggins grins, but from Lestrade's expression, we infer that he does not share our leader's enthusiasm, so we don't really get too much from that story. But he does mention that Mr. Murray, and I think so Mr. Murray, H.R. Murray, is the criminologist. Analysis of all items and substances found during the investigation. So we could visit him at 22 Southwest but maybe they have the note, the ransom note, so it would be worth going there. And yeah, basically Lestrade is just saying that the kidnappers kind of picked the wrong family, so I'm not entirely sure that this gave us too much information, but maybe I missed something, I don't know. Okay, so let's pay a visit to H.R. Murray. So we're already in the southwest. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, there seems to be quite a bit of information here, so let's go through that. I have met this Mr. Murray once before, says Watson, as we arrived at the criminology laboratory. An insightful fellow, if a little eccentric. We enter the laboratory to find an old man hunched over a desk, studying a bowler hat and a dead pigeon with a magnifying glass. He looks up as we approach and peers at us through wisps of unkempt white hair. I know you, he says, pointing at Watson, a medical man and a friend of Mr. Holmes. You are correct, Mr. Murray. I am Dr. Watson, and these are some other friends of Holmes, who go by the name of the Baker Street Irregulars. Murray studies us intently. What a fascinating collection of misfits, he says. Thank you, Mr. Murray, says Wiggins, deciding to take the comment as a compliment. I'm Wiggins, and we're here to see if you can tell us anything about these kidnappings. Ah, says Murray. I see. Interesting stuff, Wiggins. Is Wiggins, sir. What? Oh, well, firstly, we have the notes, which you can see here. Okay, so we have two different ransom notes, and it looks like we have the one from Wendy and the one for Mary as well. So the one for Wendy says, we have Miss Sturton leave £2,000 in a sack on the north bank under the new Putney Bridge at dawn tomorrow, and she will be returned to you unharmed. The second one says, we have Mary leave £2,000 in a sack under the first arch of Richmond Bridge at dawn on the 1st of September, and she will be returned unharmed. So the first thing that I see is the writing is completely different. And both say at dawn, but in two different locations. The one for Lady Mary was under the Richmond Bridge and gives a specific date of September 1st. And again, Wendy is Putney Bridge, also at dawn. So I wonder if there's like a significance for why always at dawn. But again, they're both similar. Okay, let's see what else he has to say. Both on coarse parchment paper, Murray continues. Then we have two similar red scarves, though this one from the first kidnapping is cotton, and the one from the Sturton kidnapping is a mixture of cotton and silk. And we have the rope used in each case to tie the hands of the victim behind their back. Again, there are differences. In particular, they differ in thickness, and also, look at the ends. He holds two pieces of rope in front of us, One is more afraid than the other, remarks Wiggins. Good eye, Waggins. There could be other causes for that, but it is likely that the instrument used to cut the rope was different in each case. What does Inspector Lestrade think of this? Asks Watson. He thinks a scarf is a scarf, replies Murray, and a rope is a rope, and he may be right. I would be very surprised if the evidence from two crimes by the same perpetrator were ever to match precisely. Anything else? Ah, yes, one more thing. Some bright young officer stationed at Train's house thought to take a sample of mud from Miss Sturton's shoes when she returned after being freed. I can't remember his name, but he must have learnt something from your Mr. Holmes. I know Holmes takes an interest in exactly those kinds of details, so I sent a description of the chemical composition of the soil on to him. Lestrade wasn't interested. Oh. Okay, there's a red note here. Do you have a circled C? If not, you leave Mr. Murray. If you do, read on. Oh, okay. So, I haven't circled anything yet because I haven't had a red note before. So we're not going to read on. I'm not quite sure what that does, but we shall see. All right, so we have quite a bit of information here. So, the ransom notes have different writing, or different penmanship, rather. 2 red scarves were used. One of cotton and one of a blend with silk. And then 2 rope. And he said the ends, one end is kind of like a cleaner cut than the other one. One was more frayed. So that could mean, like they said, 2 different instruments to cut the rope. So there might be analysis on the soil taken from Wendy's boot. I think it's pretty obvious that they're kind of saying that there might be 2, like the kidnappings did not happen by the same people. I'm just going to go back into my notes for Wendy. So I put down, so there's 2 people and also possibly a woman. One was a smoker. And I don't remember if Lady Mary, when she was kidnapped, I don't think Lady Dunsworthy said there was anything about anybody smoking. But I don't think we'll be able to actually speak to Lady Mary because Lady Dunsworthy is kind of forbidding it a little bit. So I think that's all I'm taking from... Okay, well, I mean, the location... the ransom note for Lady... West London, and it said Richmond Bridge. September 1st. So if she was kidnapped on the 25th, like Lady Dunsworthy stated, why wait so long to ask for the ransom? That's weird. She was taken on the 25th and they wanted ransom for the 1st of September. Like, why the 1st of September? That's very specific. Why would you want to hold on to somebody for so long? I don't know. I think, like, that's, for me, that stands out. I wonder if it's, I wonder if it might be, like, a little scandalous kind of situation. I mean, like maybe Lady Mary wanted to take off for a week with somebody that she cares about. I don't know. Unchaperoned. I don't know, that's just where my head goes sometimes. But, okay, so with that information, I'm gonna see if I can try and find Richmond Bridge on the map. We might not be able to, but we will try. So again, I'm gonna have a look at the main bridges along the Tam. I don't see anything there. And I think Lady Mary said so she said a drop off in West London. So again, that still kind of keeps us in this area here. Bridge Street. I'm not seeing anything. I don't see Richmond Bridge anywhere. So I think, I don't know. I keep focusing on Wendy and the soil, and something doesn't add up. Something doesn't add up with the fact that she was taken in this area when she was meant to be going in this area according to her story. If you're going to the chemists, and we know that the chemists are in, towards the north, why was she heading south? There is a park here. We could go and see if there's a lead for Green Park. Maybe she was meeting with someone at Green Park. I don't know. Could be worth a shot. But then there's also the note about one of her captors smoking. But we don't really have enough information on the captors themselves in terms of like what they were smoking. because I believe in the London directory we might have. Yeah, see. In the directory we have a list of smoke shops or tobacconists. And there are quite a few in the West. Actually, they're pretty much all in the West except for one. So I think we should leave that lead alone for now. You know what? Let's go talk to the gossip columnist. I know we keep bouncing all over the place with a bunch of different leads, but you know, the fact that Wiggins made it clear that she may be popular, that this could be a story, and Lady Mary, you know, did indicate that her daughter is kind of seen as like a little bit of a spectacle because of it. So I think maybe it would be worth it. So let's have a look at the lead. Right. So let's go talk to Langdon Pike. So he's at 2 Southwest. Hopefully there's something there. So, gossip columnist. So let's go talk to Langdale. So he's at 2 Southwest. Okay. It says, "I'm not a fan of the man myself," says Watson as we enter the Society's club. He is a strange, languid creature who makes a living from publishing all manners of scandal. But Holmes will not hear a bad word said about Langdale Pike, and finds himself invaluable when gossip about the lives of London's upper class is required. "It's Dr. Watson," says a pale, effete man reclining on a chaise longue in a bay window of the club. But no sign of Holmes. "What brings you my way, Doctor, with your intriguing companions?" "Hello, Langdale," says Watson. "I'm sure you have heard Holmes refer to the Baker Street irregulars. Here they are. And we've come to ask about the Train family. We're investigating the kidnapping of their governess." "Left tied and blindfolded on a street somewhere, wasn't she?" says Langdale. "I must admit, I rarely encounter the Trains. A fairly ordinary and highly respectable family, as far as I'm aware. Not my kind of thing at all, and not particularly well off either, unlike Lady Dunsworthy. Now she had a daughter worth kidnapping. Kenneth Train's uncle is Lawrence Yale, a man more to my tastes, in terms of his contribution to high society gossip, you understand." Okay. I'm just going to write down Uncle Lawrence. So, Lawrence Yale. That could be an interesting lead as well. So, Kenneth Train's uncle is Lawrence Yale, a man more to my taste in terms of his contribution to high society gossip, you understand. Yale is a known womanizer and owns racehorses. The wonderful Indian boy has been a real showstopper, and I may add, has made yours truly a bob or two in the past. Okay, so he's a gambler and a womanizer. Ooh. "And what about the other name you mentioned?" asked Wiggins. "The Dunsworthys?" "Yes. Victims of the same gang of kidnappers, I believe. Well, Lord Dunsworthy died 3 years ago and left his wife a fortune. Mary is their only child. Quite a delightful thing, and an out-and-out socialite, always on her way to or from some party or other, though I understand her social activities have decreased since her kidnapping. Thank you, Mr. Pike, says Wiggins. Watson gives a curt nod, and we exit the club. All right. So he gives us the name of Lawrence Yale, and says that Lady Mary's activity has slowed down since the kidnapping, which makes sense. So Lawrence would be somebody that we would definitely want to go and talk to as well. But before we do that, I know I'm jumping around. I think it would be worthwhile to go and talk to the folks at the carriage stables in the West Centre of London. So it's the meeting point for London cab drivers, source of information on movements of suspects as well. Well, maybe it would be too early to go. I don't know, but I really want to know if they have any information on any regular occurrences, or if they have any information on the 2 kidnappings, to see if they fall in the same kind of occurrences where the cab was stopped. So let's see. So 5 West Centre. Just also being very careful not to read anything that I don't need to read. All right. So we're in the West Centre, but there's no 5 West Centre, so we cannot talk to anybody at the stables. So that's also out of the question. Okay. I guess our next stop would be to go and visit Lawrence Yale. And we will need our lovely London directory. There we go. Okay. Lawrence Yale is at 62 Southwest, which is right across the street from where the trains live, I think. Oh no. Okay, they're at the Northwest. He's at South, so he's at 62 Southwest. So the train residence is right here. And our friend Lawrence is in Southwest, so he's right here at the corner of Basil. Okay. And it doesn't give any other names of the street, so he's on Basil Street. So he's about like about a 20-minute walk or so. Maybe 25 minutes to travel to the train residence. So let's go talk to Lawrence. breakfast. Okay. Here we go. Ooh, it is a short description. All right. We walk up to the large, imposing mansion at 62 Basil Street. However, despite our best efforts to sweet-talk the butler, including one of Wiggins' most inventive and elaborate bluffs, which involves the Metropolitan Police, a chimney sweep, and an escaped llama, we are refused entry. That gave us nothing. We are refused entry. Okay. So where is Lawrence? Is he even at the house? I'm assuming so. Refused entry. That sucks. That's not helpful at all. Okay, well, what if we went and looked to see if there is any mention of Lawrence in the newspaper? Maybe that's something that'll help us. I don't know. So let me just have a really quick look here. So while I was looking for any mention of Lawrence Yale, I haven't gone through the whole thing yet, but I did come across this article here. Art gallery opening. The new Dunsworthy Art Gallery opened last night with a private concert by invitation only that was praised by all in attendance for its balance of humor and elegance. After a jovial performance by the Moore and Burgess minstrels, the stage was taken by Miss Eliza Delane for a recital of her habanera from Bizet's Carmen. Guests were even observed to weep in response to this virtuoso performance, one perhaps being Clara Henley, in attendance with her fiancé, Mr. Montague Harbuck. Grace Allen was observed in the company with her brother Patrick and the Lewin twins. Miss Mary Dunsworthy, accompanied by her good friend the artist Emmeline Manton, was an elegant and agreeable host, emphasizing that she will be continuing to hold the elaborate and exciting social events for which she is renowned. So it's interesting that the columnist is saying that she's taking a break, but now in the newspaper article she's saying, I'm going to continue. I'm just going to make note of that before I take a look at the rest of the newspaper. So I'll just kind of write her friend's name. So artist friend is Emmeline Manton. So maybe we can go and talk to her. And article contradicts. Now the other people mentioned in the newspaper article, I don't know if they have a connection, but I'm just going to remember that and go back to that. Okay, let me keep looking here. I don't see anything else in the paper that leads to Yale. But we know that he's a womanizer and he likes horses. Maybe that's a direction that we can go in a little bit later, but first I would like to go and talk to Lady Mary's friend. Oh, no, I want the directory. Okay. Manton, Emmeline, 39 East Central. Okay, so 39 EC. See if we have anything in here. We've got a little something. All right. Through the bay window of number 39, we can see a room full of paintings and canvases. Facing the window is a large canvas on an easel, which appears to be a work in progress. A portrait of a middle-aged woman with dark, curly hair. We knock at the door, and it is answered by a lady in her 20s with a small, almost childlike face. She is wearing an apron and has a brush in her hand. Emmeline Manton asks Wiggins, "I am busy. I do not want to buy. Thank you." "We're not selling, miss. We work for Sherlock Holmes, the detective, and wanted to ask about Mary Dunsworthy." "Are you investigating the kidnapping?" "Yes. What do you know about it?" "What Mary told us. Frightful business. She was tied to a chair, treated like an animal. The note asked for money to be left under a bridge, and her mother did as it asked, thank God, or Mary may never have returned." "When you say us, who do you mean?" "Mary's friends." "Who are?" "Oh, she has many. Most of them were there at the art gallery opening last night. Now I need to keep working. Thank you, Miss Madden." So now we see where the rest of the names kind of come in from the art gallery opening. So I'm going to jot those down really quickly. So we have a lot of people to talk to. Let's start with Clara. Pull up the old London directory once again. And Henley. So they won't be Montague and Clara won't be living together because they're not married yet, and we all know how that goes in the 1800s. Let's see if there's a Henley in the directory. Hennessy, nope. Hensley. So there is no Clara Henley in the directory. Like there's no Henley at all. Hendry, Henneke, Hennessy, Hengler, Enrique, Henry, Hensley again, Hearn, and that's about it. So let's go see Harbach. Let's look up Harbach. Harbach southeast, is it? Yep, southeast. So I'm sure she's hanging out with her fiance, but who knows? Not in directory. And we have him here. Okay. Go this way. Here we go. So we have arrived at Montague Harbuck's residence. Monty, shouts the young lady in a bright pink bonnet who is standing outside number 55. Monty, I insist you come out so we can talk. Excuse me, miss, says Wiggins. Is this the residence of Montague Harbuck? Yes, but you wouldn't know it. He's not answering the door. Do you know why? Monty, She looks us over with a puzzled expression. Gentlemen are here to see you. You need to open the door. We see a face appear briefly at the window, then it disappears again. I told Monty that Archie is my third cousin once removed, the lady says, and we have gone riding together since we were little, but he refuses to believe me. He thinks we're up to, it's awful. And can I ask your name, miss? Clara Henley. Well, there you go. So she's having a meltdown in front of her fiance's house. Clara Henley, soon to be Clara Harbuck. I will not let my future husband treat me like this. Monty, come out or I'll tell Mother what you said about Uncle Horace. Do you know Mary Dunsworthy? Yes, we went to her gallery opening last night. And do you know about her kidnapping? She told us about it at the time. Lady Dunsworthy had to leave money under a bridge at dawn. Poor Mary was tied to a chair. She showed us the scarf they used to blindfold her before the police took it. Awful. She looks at the house. What do you think he's doing? I don't know, miss. Do you? Monty! Oh, he's still not coming out. She strides away and climbs into a carriage. She speeds off down the street. We knock a few times at number 55, but no one comes to the door. So Clara tells us that Lady Mary had her scarf that she was blindfolded with still. And showed it to them before giving it to the police. So it's like very similar to what Emmeline said. So maybe the next place we should go is to visit Grace and Patrick Anand. So let's see if there's anything. I'm wondering too if we could actually go to the art gallery. I'll see if there's something in the directory after. Okay. They're not in the directory either. Okay, so what about the Lumen twins? Maybe they're all together somewhere. Who knows? Okay, so we have Lewin Bradford and Lewin Hubert. So we might have to go and visit both. So let's start with Bradford at 27 Southwest. We are told that Bradford Lewin left for Paris early this morning in the company of his brother Hubert. Okay, so that completely... Oh boy. Okay, let's just pick a random direction to go in. Let's go, because I keep talking about Hyde Park, let's go to Hyde Park. And I think Hyde Park is 95 Northwest. Hopefully we're not going super early and we get information that might be not good for us, but we'll see. Okay. We enter Hyde Park from the southeast. The path underfoot glimmers with a light frost, and we wrap our coats and scarves tight about us to ward off the cold.